everybody, welcome to my channel. I want to thank everybody for stopping in today. If you like my videos, don't forget to give them the thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to work on our signatures that we put together. And we want to figure out exactly the placement of them, and also if we want to sew around any of the sides. If you don't have a sewing machine, don't worry about it. I didn't sew around mine until recently. But I find it easier to do all this prior to putting your signatures in your journal because you won't be able to sew around the edges. So a lot of these simple ones, you need to figure out if you want to rip the edges of them to make them look more vintage looking, if you want to ink the edges, if you want to sew around them, which I'm probably going to sew around these simple ones. I haven't decided. I might end up tearing the sides. And you want to figure out the placement. So what I usually do is I try to take pieces and make some of them smaller. Like I might even be more apt to cutting this in half so you can see this through it and maybe put it in the center. I try to stagger my layers so you can see the next one. You can already see through that, but see how you can see these pages on the side? That's how I like to have mine, so you can see kind of a peek what's coming next. This one is exactly staggered the way I really like having it. This one is smaller. Then you have the graduated next size up. And then you have this vintage or antique one, which I'm also going to show you how I stabilize those because they are very old and they do tend to break, and we don't want it to break when we put our signature in. And then some of these I've already torn the edges, so I'll probably go back and ink them as well. And I added some onion skin paper to it. I just like the sounds of it as well. And then we hit our center part here, and I'll go around and I'm going to ink the edges of all these, and I'll figure out exactly which pages I want to sew around. This might even look pretty stitched around as well. So that's my next step here, is to do the sewing aspect of it, and then we'll dive into how we're going to transform these pages. Are we going to add pockets? Are we going to sew some pockets on? How are we going to transform this to make it how we like it? I want to figure out how I'm going to create a pocket with this, because you really, for me, I don't think you could have a pocket. It'd be kind of hard having a pocket that's on the inside. So I'll probably stitch this down here as well. And I could always, when I stitch that in with the signature on the other side, it looks really pretty. It kind of just creates a little border, so to speak. And I could actually add a piece of trim there, or I could add, let's see. I'm just grabbing what I have in front of me. We could add a piece of lace to make it stand out more. There's so much we can do with that piece. So that's how I'm going to end up doing that. So I might as well just fold that in there just so I know. So that's my first signature. So that's my first, one of my signatures. I want to add something to the front because I don't like starting a signature off on a blank page. That's me. I like a lot of vivid color and a lot of different things. And I know we have a lot of these that I haven't fussy cut out. So I could always add one of these to the bottom corner. So that's also another plan that I have. But first I'm going to do the stitching. I've also taken a pretty doily that I think I'm going to end up putting into the signature as well, just because I think it's really pretty. And we could always add an embellishment on the top of this, maybe even one of the girls that I have. And I also have fabric pieces too. Let me see if I have any. I don't have any out here. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not going to use this one per se, but I do have fabric pieces that I can add as well to this top to kind of make it look a little different. And I believe I have women as well. So I'm going to go through all my fabrics and see what I have, just because I don't like plain on the top. This is that bag, so I think what I might do is cut this side open so we have a pocket here, and then paper, and then we have our 3 again layers that are at different levels as well. I have 2 envelopes. I already have an envelope and a pocket in here, so more than likely I'm going to take this out because we don't want, or I don't like 2 similar pockets in there, so I might add a belly band or something a little bit different. So this is how I have this layered out. The longer ones I fold in or I fold out. And I will stabilize this as well, and I'll show you how to do that. So I have this pretty much set up to go. I do have a lot of blank pages in here that I will decorate the corners with and add extra things on as well. This is my, let's see, center page. And I think I'll definitely stitch around this just because it gives it a really nice look. And I didn't want to lose this picture because it is in a dress shop or a lace shop or something. So I actually put that there. And then you can see around the edge of this. And this coordinates very nicely. So you want to go through each page and make sure your pages coordinate. You don't want, say, a chartreuse green here and then, you know, a pink here. You want to make sure that your colors somewhat coordinate on the pages as well. And then there's that pocket. So I'll probably have a pocket here, then a pocket on the other side. And I have these great postcards that I could always use. One on the front. We could add lace. There's so many things that we can add to this pocket as well. So that's my, I'm not sure exactly the sequence I'm going to put these in the journal yet. And then I have my last one, and I did stagger this as well, as you can see. This one is a little bit up higher, this one is lower. Then I have this vellum envelope, which I kind of need to figure out how I'm going to incorporate this in as well. I can always take another envelope, and we'll figure that out as we go. And I put another piece of onion skin paper in here because I thought it looked really pretty. The first thing we're going to end up doing is fixing this so they don't tear when we sew our signatures in. And I kind of like that look on top of that dress. I thought it looked really pretty. And then you have your dress and your center. So I'm going to skip on, and the next thing we're going to be doing is stabilizing our pieces that are very old at the seam, so that way we don't lose them down the road. So here is this page that I want to reinforce right here. And what I try to do is I try to pick something that kind of coordinates with my journal. And that actually might look pretty going down the center. I like this neutral as well. So let's see what we think would look best. And I basically just take it and put it down the center. This might actually look pretty good down that center. So I'm going to do that. Just put this aside. Whoops. And I literally just take it from the top to the bottom, and a lot of times people glue it down because this washi sticker is not that great for staying, but I'm going to be sewing in that signature, so it should stay down with sewing it in. And then you want to do the other side. And that really just gives it some stability. Now, what I'll probably end up doing for these pieces that we folded, I have some real thin washi tape. And I don't want to take away from these beautiful papers. So I'm going to look for something super thin and put that there. I'm going to take this washi and just bring it down the center. These rip so easily. I almost don't even like to add it as a signature. And now I'm kind of hoping this is thick enough. I just didn't want to take away from that. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add another line right next to it. So now let's do this other side as well. Now I'm hearing they don't even really teach cursive anymore. That's unfortunate. I do a lot of my writing only in cursive. So we had to when we were in school. So it became a habit for me. So now we have this all set, so we can fold it. I gotta remember which way we had it folded, like this. And it just gives it some stability. Whew, I'm hot. If we really wanted to, we could create this into a tuck spot. If it got a little out of control with the tearing. Yeah. So now you know how to do the old ones. Now I'm going to go ahead and do all the old ones that I have in this journal, and you may want to do the same. As I was just doing this, I'm thinking, what are they going to do with our papers? Well, the unfortunate thing is we don't have many papers. It's all computerized. And that makes me sad that, you know, all this documentation is kind of done by the wayside now. Done away by the wayside. So the future generations won't be able to see our signatures like we could see theirs. And I know that's kind of sad. Technology, I mean, has its place, but it really does stinks when you can't see that. I know when my husband and I bought our house, believe it or not, we bought it from our phone because we bought it on auction. I mean, we went to a closing, but we did all our bids by our phones. And you just don't have that same feeling with all this computer stuff, unfortunately. So I ended up stitching around that paper. And I don't strive to go evenly at all. This is probably as even as I've ever made it. And I was thinking too, we could always switch this around so that plain one isn't on the top. So I could do that. The other thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch around my envelope right here next. But I got to be careful because I don't want to stitch across because I won't be able to get in. So I'm just going to stitch around and maybe around the top of this. I found this, and it's a little pouch that's tatted. So I'd like to add this somehow in this journal, possibly. We'll see how that goes. I wanted to show you, I created a little silk ruffle here with this that I got from Odulcina. And I just took in the sewing machine and literally just used my sewing scissors and pushed it through. So I started at the top and then just kind of made sure that this folded it as it went down. So I've created a cute little ruffle and made a very simple page a little bit more detailed. Then I went and darkened up the corners a little bit. Now when I do my corners, I tend to make these corners a little more severe. If you see, it just gives it a little more, it just makes it pop a little more, I think, anyways. I just take them and just give them a little bit more ink in those corners. See the difference? Yeah. I just think I like it better. So I cut one of the ephemera pieces out, and I'm just going to do a little corner tuck spot here. So I'm just going to run some glue just a little bit around this edge here. Just like that. And I want this stitching to show. So now I have a cute little tuck spot here that I could put stuff in. And I found this, which is kind of cute. So I can add something like that, whatever I want in there. There's so many ways of dressing these pages up. Now I want to do something here, and I might even sew a belly band. I can stitch something across like this. Pulled a bunch of my favorite trims from Sheila that I could add as well. That's really pretty. So far I like that first one. That's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. But I think I want to use this on top of a piece of fabric or something. Here's another one. It's a little short. No, so far I really like this one. And I mean, it's big enough that I could also create a pocket on the bottom as well if I wanted to. But I think I'm going to use this as a belly band. I found this and I like this even better because it coincides with this green. And like I said, I could make this a pocket easily if I wanted to. So I'm going to have to really think on what I want to do. If I want to make it a belly band up here or a pocket. I kind of like the balance of that. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I also have this too. Pulled a few others out. Not as crazy about this one as I am this. This is definitely going to be the one. I did end up adding this as a belly band, and I just sewed around the edges. And I think this really, really blends in nicely with this page right here. So you see how I try to make the pages blend in? Now this, something like this may even be pretty. Glued down as a side pocket. And then I have this pocket here. See, something like this looks gorgeous on here, but I would glue that down. And we could also add a tab. I have these tabs. We could add a tab on the outside as well, so people know it's to lift up. This is where I'm at so far. We added a belly band here. I stitched the envelope. I need to see, I want to do something else with this. I just need to figure out what. And I folded it just a little bit to catch it in the signature. I added a little side pocket. We taped the corners of those. And I did something else, and I think I forgot to video it yesterday. Oh, I ended up adding a music sheet to it. So with the, excuse me, this was a bag, and I just folded it up and created a pocket out of it. So I think I'm going to adhere this to the side of the page, and this can be a side pocket. It's a little long to add to this. I mean, I could possibly do that and add lace, but I'm not going to do that. I think what I'll do is I'll add it to this crunchy paper, just so there's more writing spot right here. And when I glue this, I'm going to show you. Let's do this now. I'm hoping it glues okay to this. When I glue it, I'm just gluing down the edges so I can have another tuck spot here. I'll show you. Just like this. Now, so we're going to put that right there. Let's wait and see. And then I'll glue something here on the back, just so we don't see this. I have this picture of this lady too, so we'll figure that out. I just don't like to leave these blank. And what I did too with this is it was a long envelope, and I just cut the center so when we sew the signature in, we don't catch the corner of it. And that way we'll have two pockets on either side. So I did that. So I decided I'd like to make a hidden pocket, and I'm going to show you ladies how to do that. So there's a pocket on the side. I have two of these that are basically the same. Let's see. And I'll pull them out. And I have this one. So let's move this aside, and I'm going to show you how to do this. I want to ink the edges up first. So let me go do that, and I'll be right back. There. So I picked my two favorite sides to be showing. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our glue, and I want one of my pockets to be on the top and one to be on the side. I thought of sewing it, but I'm trying to think if we want to stitch it, because we'd stitch here and here, and then I'd stitch here and here. So now I have a pocket in here and a pocket in the top. So what more than likely I'll do is I'll add something to this. I like to add either glue or something to the corners where I did stitching. Not so concerned about this because we'll have our seam in there. And then we just need to find a place to put it in our journal. And I probably will add another page in here because now we've taken away a page. So I think the next thing we'll work on, let's work on our envelope here. I like to do a lot of tuck spots on purpose because I tend to fill up the pages, and the tuck spots allow me to add areas where people can journal and kind of keep it a secret for them. So now we're going to work on this envelope and making it look a little prettier, filling this white in here and adding something to the outside of this. And I'm not quite sure yet what we'll add to this, but I'm going to look through a few of the things that I have, and I finished the envelope somewhat. And I'm racking my brain a little bit here, and I feel like I need to add something in these spots. So let me add this, and I know when I rack my brain, and it takes me a while, that it's time to move on temporarily and go to the next part. So this is what I did. I added it like this, and then I actually made it so this was a little hidden pocket here. I could add something in here, and then I have a tuck spot in here as well. Maybe I don't need anything here, but what I'll do is I'll figure that out later on, because that's something we can always add as we go. So that's how I ended up doing this. I thought I added a tuck spot, another one here, and I probably did, and I could have glued it down. But it's okay, because this, I think, really looks nice. It's part of her dress shop. Now, all of you guys, as much as I want to show you every single step of everything I make, I don't think it's possible in this journal. So what I've decided to do, just because it takes me so long and I do add a lot of things to it, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to create some separate videos here and there of different ways to add things to your journal as time goes on, like adding a pocket, a hidden pocket like this, and we'll create another one like the one I added for the top hidden pocket, and we'll do a whole like video on decorating it. And what I'm going to do though is, once I'm done with these signatures, I'm going to show you ladies, and then I will take my journal and we will work on the journal cover together. I'm just finding there are too many pages in this. The video will be never ending, especially with the way I work. I'm also debating, and I think I'm going to do this, I'm going to add a doily to one of these pages. I just think it adds a lot of character and texture to it as well. And I'm not quite sure exactly which one I'm going to add yet. And I want to add something to this as well. But as you can see, it's already getting really thick. And I only did a 2-inch binding. So I kind of also need to be careful and aware of that. I wanted to add this somehow as well, just because I think it's so pretty to add something to it. And what I'm going to do is decorate it with a little bit of lace and just kind of glue it on. But I'm not sure yet what I'm going to add. I will work on that as well. And once this journal's done, I'll do a final flip through. I'm super excited about it. And once it's done, it will be for sale on my Ko-Fi page. If anybody's interested, once it's done, you can skip over to my Ko-Fi page, or you can message me and reserve it. You know how I mentioned stepping away sometimes is the best thing to do? Well, I stepped away for a little bit. We had friends that stopped by, and I started editing so I could post this video. And I'm thinking of adding this right here. I just need to stay away from where I'm going to be sewing in that. So I'm going to add that there, and then I'm thinking this looks a little naked, so I'm going to add something up here. I might add a flower, I'm not quite sure yet. So I think I might add a piece of this right here. Not 100% positive yet, but I'm thinking on that. So I'm actually liking this here, and I thought that as well, but I don't like it as much. It just gives this a little pop, and I don't think I'm going to need that extra piece of lace here. I think that'll be too much if I add this. So I think I'm going to add that there. And I also brought this out in case I wanted to add this. Oh, that's a tough decision. If I did that, I could add this in the middle. Let me cut this down. I can always, it doesn't matter if I cut it, I can always piece it back if needed. So I'm not sure if I like this one better, and then you can still see some of that lace under it, or this one better. I'm still leaning towards this one. Sometimes the first choice is always the way it works for me. I'm going to add this, and I'm going to make it so some of it hangs off on this side. Just turn this, how it's going to look. If I do that, you'll see it like that. So I don't think I'm going to have it hang off on that side. I might have it hang off on this side. And that way when you open it, you see under it. That's what I'm going to do. So let me go glue that, and I'll be right back. I'm actually thrilled with this. It gives it that pop that it needed. We can add something inside here. And I like that. Now this doesn't really need anything because I think this kind of offsets it. And then you have the back page like this. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to flip, and I'm going to figure out what I want to do with this strip. Now, what I can do is I could glue the sides and have a side tuck spot. So that way I don't have to worry about dealing with the opposite side of it. I could actually glue it right here, and then we could do, I think I'm going to do that, a side tuck spot. But I'm debating whether I want to do it. That's too thin. I'm going to do a side tuck spot right here. So let me go glue that down, and then we can figure out what we're going to put. This is how I did that. I just pulled it out, the page out, and I know that it's going to be folding here to sew in the signature, and that's open to put stuff in. It's still drying. So while that's drying, I'm going to go grab something that we can put on the outside. So this is glued down, and I can wait to see what I want to add after we stitch the signatures in, just because it's already in the journal and I'm not sewing it. Oh, there was another piece I'd like to add as a pocket somewhere. I just think I want to add more laces and things to this because this is a dressmaker's journal, and it's going to include all of her laces and trims that she's going to offer so she could show all her customers. So I'm going to look at my other signature. I also thought too, wouldn't it be pretty adding a piece of this over one of the pages? Just keep it, and we can cut it just like this over the top. And again, another sample. So that's another thing that I'm toying with. Let me go and see where we can add this. I can always go and add pockets as I go on and finish inside the journal. Even that looks gorgeous. I really like that. That would be a perfect match to add here. You know, I think I'm just going to add this now because I really do like that. Ended up adding that. It just really coincides nice with the elegance of this gown and the gold that's in here. And we could add something really nice right here as we go on. I'm going to call this video a wrap. I'm going to finish these pages. You've got the general idea of how I do things. And then what I'll do is my very last video will be a final flip through so you can see everything that I added. What I'd end up doing as well, and I probably didn't show you ladies, is I'll go through and add laces on the side. not necessarily this one, but I'll add them on the side. So they come off on the side and they'll come out on the edge of the book. So you'll see a lot of laces coming out on the side on my journal. I don't have anything right in front of me now to show you, but I think you get the general idea. I end up doing that. This is, I just love this lace. This is the one my mother's friend gave me. I could even cover a page with this. I think that would look gorgeous, covering a page and putting this as a signature. But I don't know what I want to do with this. I love it. General idea now, and I'm going to go finish editing so I can get that up for you ladies. And I'm hoping it probably is going to take me another week to finish this. So give me some time. You might end up having another video in between of something. I'm going to be working on my daughter's journal. And I also have that's what I want to tell you. I have another person that got in touch with me. They do not have a Facebook. They found me on Instagram. And there are some gorgeous digitals. So they ended up giving me some of the digitals, and I told them I'd play with it and introduce you guys to what they have. And their prices are very reasonable. So I'm going to print some of those out as well. You guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.